The market is very cyclical. So like what's rare to this generation in a few years will be common, and then those common plants now will be rare the next generation because people will stop growing it because everyone has it.
Yeah.
And then once you get to a point that where it has left the marketplace, then it becomes rare again, and then people will be clamoring for it, and then you'll have to bring it back to the market.
Yeah.
Dear plant lovers, welcome to sunny Miami, Florida. Our journey today takes us to Silver Krome Gardens, a family-owned wholesale nursery that's responsible for mass-producing both classic and trending houseplants for the US market. If you're an advanced plant collector, you would invariably have come across some sought-after plants with the name SKG attached to the ID. Find out the origin story of the Anthurium Ace of Spades and tons of beautiful Alocasias as we tour the massive compound. Current owner, Bill, generously discussed topics such as nursery care secrets, insider insights, best-selling plants, and the International Aroid Society, and why you might consider joining.
Hi guys, my name is Sean. I'm a houseplant enthusiast from Jakarta, Indonesia, but I'm in Miami now at Silver Krome Gardens. I have an appointment with Bill. Now this is my first time back in the United States in 15 years, so I want to thank Palm Street for flying me over here. And technically this episode is not sponsored by Palm Street. I'm just really grateful because all of this is not going to be possible without them. And I have 3 episodes today to film. So today we will be doing Silver Krome. I'll be with Mike DeAndrea and as well as Paul Marcellini. So we will make haste. Hang on. So cute. Oh.
Welcome to Silver Krome Gardens. We've been around since 1981, and we grow all sorts of unusual plants. This is a family business that was started by my father, and I eventually took over. You want to come for a tour?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
We have 6 greenhouses right now. We have another one that's being built, so we'll have 7 in total.
Wow.
We're on 10 acres of land. In 1981, we started with 1 greenhouse and been slowly building over the years. We had a few setbacks with hurricanes that destroyed the nursery and had to rebuild, but we're still going strong after all these years.
Awesome.
So this is mostly Calatheas, and here we have Macoianas. We have Stylochiton, used to be Bogneri. I think they reclassified it to Cordifolius. It's an aroid from Africa.
That's really cool.
It lives between where the jungles meet the prairies. It basically resides under the ground. The roots and the stems are underground. The only thing that goes above ground is the flowers and the leaves.
Do they form like little bulbs or something?
Yeah.
Because if I'm looking at the growth pattern here, it looks like they spread.
The bulbs grow underground and then they stick up leaves.
Cool. And
it stays small, so it's like a good terrarium plant. It doesn't get too tall.
But would it make a good house plant? Or
yeah.
Right. This is really interesting. It looks like a bunch of different aroid genus, had or hybridized. Like you have that Certosperma looking leaf. You've got that Scindapsus silver. You've got a bunch of different aroid traits that are just blended into one. This is really cute.
This is Anthurium rotulantianum. It was named after my father by Dr. Croat and J. Vanini, who did. There was a good story behind the original plant. The original plant was a plant that was at Fairchild Botanical Gardens, and it was in their collection listed as Anthurium corrugatum. Dr. Croat came in and said that's not corrugatum, that's something else entirely, but they had no collection data on it or how it came to the gardens. Unfortunately, when you get a lot of different transitions between people taking care of the gardens, some people write down stuff better than others, and some people don't. And they didn't really know where it came from. And it took them almost 20 years to find it in the wild again.
Wow. So it is a species.
Yeah. So once they found it in the wild, they decided to rename it after my father, not only for the contributions he's had for the society, but because when he was able to obtain a specimen of it, Dr. Croat said he grew it better than anyone else he had ever seen. So he named it after my father. We use our own soil. We mix our own soil to the way we would like it. It is designed for South Florida's heat. And our benching system, if you can see, has 360 degrees of airflow around the pots. Because the plants are not sitting on a bench top, they're sunken into it, you get more water release. And that water release means that you have to have a little bit more wet soil to be able to keep the plants respiring properly, because we get to be pretty much 90 degrees for 3/4 of the year. With that heat, you also use a lot of more water than normal.
Awesome. And is this rainproof, or is this?
Yes, it is rainproof. It's a layer of shade with a double poly on top of it. So we use a dripper system for our irrigation. Not only is it low water consumption, it's better for the environment. So it individually waters each plant instead of watering with a sprinkler system that some plants can lose water because they're getting crowded out by leaves. It is very low pressure. So we don't use it. If you imagine, we use a 7-acre nursery, and we're only using a 3-horsepower pump for 7 acres.
Wow. Okay.
It individually waters each zone every day, and it drips into each pot. The only problem is sometimes when you have a nursery that's 40-something years old, it basically, some of the drippers get clogged over time with calcium.
Yeah.
So we have to dip them in an acid bath and clean them out. So I have one employee, that's all she does. She goes through and basically cleans out all the lines with acid, and then puts a designed wire through them that basically pulls out all the calcium and algae that are growing inside.
Interesting. Do you introduce nutrients in these waters, or do you just?
Yes, we do.
Leaves? Oh, you do. Awesome.
Yeah. It keeps calcium off the leaves because you don't have any water drying on the leaves.
Okay.
And then leaving the calcium residue. So it keeps it nice and clean. You see it, other nurseries, this is the calcium residue that you get on the leaf, that white substance. That's difficult to remove.
Oh.
So that's a good way of keeping the calcium off, is by using a drip system.
Yeah. Also very considerate that you're not wasting too much water.
No.
Precious resource.
Yeah, it is a precious resource. This is our patented Stromanthe.
Okay. What is this one called?
This is was given to us by a collector who found it in South America. His name was Charlie McDaniel. Charlie McDaniel was a longtime Aroid Society member and from West Palm Beach, Florida, and he was a biology high school teacher. He gave this plant to us to grow, and we decided that we should patent it and name it after him. So the name is Stromanthe stromanthoides variety Charlie.
That's quite a mouthful.
The true species is plain green and has orange bracts in the springtime. He found this variegated form of it, and we eventually put it in the tissue culture and have been growing it ever since.
Cool. You guys do have a tissue culture lab here, or do you guys outsource it?
So I have a friend who owns a tissue culture lab in Apopka.
Okay.
Their name is AgriStarts.
Okay.
And AgriStarts is one of the nicest ones in the United States.
And I do have a question from the audience, by the way. You don't have to answer this, but someone in Singapore, Gardens by the Bowl, he did ask that the Ace of Spades was given to you guys by Orchid Nursery, Orchid Garden. a long time ago.
Yeah, a very long time ago.
And then you guys had it done in tissue culture. They wanted to ask, did you guys do a lot, and are more going to be coming in from tissue culture?
So it was originally given to us by the Orchid Jungle.
Oh yes, that's what
The
it is.
Orchid Jungle was a tissue culture lab, orchid sales, and sort of orchid theme park. So they had a natural hammock where they attached all sorts of rare orchids to trees, and people would come in by the busload to come view the beautiful orchids at the garden. And then they had a tissue culture lab inside the garden, and then they had like a store where you could buy orchids there as well. The owners were the Fennell family, and Thomas Fennell III was my dad's best friend. And my dad used to go over there for lunch with him every couple days because it wasn't too far away from us. And they had an Anthurium that they had collected in South America on a tree. And the Anthurium was dark, round. It wasn't very big. And one day it had seeds on it, and my dad asked him if he could take the seeds. He took about 10 seeds back to the nursery, and he grew them up. And one was darker and bigger than the rest. So he kept that one and sold the rest. And he named it Ace of Spades because he thought it looked like a playing card, Ace Spades. And from there, we grew it for many years by selling seedlings off of it and cuttings until right around, I'd say early 2000s. We put it into tissue culture with AgriStarts, and eventually they started producing liners for us. But it was like maybe one tray a month.
Okay.
And we were able to get that going. And then all of a sudden we were getting problems with our liners. They weren't coming out the way they should be coming out. So they looked like something else, and I thought maybe their bottles were contaminated with another plant. We ended up finding out that the bottles actually had another plant in it, and that plant was quite beautiful. And I asked them, hey, why is this going on? And they said, oh, well, we had tissue cultured seeds originally. And I guess one of the seeds from the Ace of Spades was pollinated by another animal. Bug, probably a fruit fly. And it actually was much faster than the Ace of Spades. So it outcompeted the other tissue in the bottles. So eventually they had to scrap all their bottles and start from scratch. And they have never been able to get Ace of Spades back into culture cleanly. But the new plant, which I ended up naming Queen of Hearts, was much easier to grow for them. So I continued getting that plant for a long time. And I still have many plants of Queen of Hearts out there for sale. And that was that tissue culture mistake I told you about with Ace of Spades.
These guys, the purple
red leaf ones.
Okay. So it is unknown parentage because it was just discovered.
The mother was Ace of Spades, but we don't know who the father was. So this is house number 4. This is our oldest house, only because we ordered this greenhouse 2 months before Hurricane Andrew hit. And when Hurricane Andrew hit, it destroyed everything in South Florida. All the nurseries were destroyed down here.
Like completely devastated.
Completely, like nothing was
Decimated.
left. Yes, nothing was left.
Oh, that's crazy.
There was not one greenhouse left in South Florida.
Oh my.
And what happened was, since we had ordered it 2 months before Hurricane Andrew, we actually received the greenhouse like a month or two after Hurricane Andrew. So we were able to get one of the first greenhouses set up after Hurricane Andrew. The problem was finding crews to build it because everybody else was busy fixing houses where people were living.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to bring in a crew that built, that did roofing on homes, and they were able to get it built for us. But this is actually our oldest greenhouse. It's been around since, the Hurricane Andrew was 1992, so 93 I think it was built. We call this number 4. This is mostly our mass market items like our philodendrons, our pothos, and other stuff.
Awesome. You guys do grow a myriad of plants here. You have common plants and then you have like the ultra rare plants going on. How do you balance the market? Do you just basically produce based on demand or based on your instinct, or how does that come about?
It's difficult. You're always guessing on what the market wants and what they're going to buy a lot of.
Yeah.
So
But you're B2.
I like to do a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Just so if something's not selling, then it's just one item not selling and not like acres and acres of one item not selling.
Yeah, so it's instinct, but are you guys also based on like purchase orders and things like that, or do you just have to be ahead of the...
Well, we have items that usually sell a lot of, like this. So these items usually sell in quantity over the months. And we base that on yearly sales figures. But some of the stuff, we just buy what's trendy and hot, and
Sure.
hopefully it grows and does well, and we sell a lot of it.
Now, you're B2B. What are some of your biggest buyers?
The biggest buyers are interior escapers and re-wholesalers.
Awesome.
We have one in Cincinnati, Ohio that buys a good amount of our product to resell all over the US.
Awesome.
So they'll bring it in and then they'll truck it out in individual orders. So they'll bring in like maybe 100 cases, and then those 100 cases will get split within 100 customers.
Wow.
TC liners from Holland for a lot of our anthuriums.
Oh, you guys do import as well.
Then we step them up into a 4-inch tray.
Yeah.
And then eventually when they grow out, we'll put them into a bigger pot. Since those are more likely sold in a 6-inch pot than a 4-inch pot.
Cool.
So they have lots of flowers on them.
And these are the Andrianums, the ones that,
Yeah.
you know, supermarkets and things like that.
Yeah.
So these days, when people say Anthurium, I think they assume it's those like heart-shaped leaf Anthuriums. So sometimes it's good to clarify.
Yeah.
But the flowering Anthuriums are actually a huge.
It's a big market.
Yeah, much big. And orchids too. We just tend to forget that as houseplant collectors.
Yeah.
So I guess for like pothos and these fast-growing plants, you propagate by cutting and not like PC or seeds. Interesting.
So we do Epiprimnum aureum, Epiprimnum jade, Epiprimnum marble queen. We do Epiprimnum golden flame. We do Epiprimnum pinnatum aria. We do Epiprimnum pinnatum albo. We do the Epiprimnum bali.
Awesome.
We do Epiprimnum skeleton key, and I think that's it.
I think people underestimate the Epiprimnums too. The pothos are actually a powerful plant that a lot of people buy as beginners and landscaping.
Yeah, the market is very cyclical. So like what's rare to this generation in a few years will be common, and then those common plants now will be rare the next generation because people will stop growing it because everyone has it.
Yeah.
And then once you get to a point where it has left the marketplace, then it becomes rare again, and then people will be clamoring for it, and then you'll have to bring it back to the market.
Yeah. And I said this, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way too, but we're seeing all these Anthurium hybrids in the market now. At some point, the species are going to be so rare, so hard to find, and it's going to come back at some point. So
species are always popular because everybody wants a true species.
yeah, but they're being drowned out by so much hybrids now in the market.
Yeah, but you can make so many cool things, especially with anthuriums, because with cross-sectional hybrids that these plants in the wild would never be in the same area, and you would never get these cross-sectional hybrids that you're getting nowadays.
Awesome.
Like I had one I brought to the show that has 4 different sections in it. Amazing that you can breed these anthuriums. They shouldn't really breed back and forth at all in the wild, and it should be something that you'll never ever see.
Yeah.
But once, my dream is to get like, you know, that big, huge red flower on like a heart velvety leaf plant.
Interesting. So you got the flower and the leaf.
Yeah, so you get best of both worlds.
Yeah.
One day I'll get it through breeding, but
That's cool.
hopefully before the gene editing people do it.
You think that'll happen?
Yeah, with the CRISPR technology, now you can edit the genes, you can give the flowers color they never gave before, you can make the flowers bigger, you can make the leaf bigger, you can make the leaf smaller. I think the only thing holding them back now is the government's control over the editing of genes.
Yeah.
European market doesn't like any gene editing, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it in South America and Asian countries, because they don't really care about that.
Yeah.
And the U.S. marketplace, I don't think that they're really opposed to gene editing on plants yet. Those are iguanas. Those are the green iguanas from South America.
Yeah.
And they eat plants, so they'll go through your benches and decimate your product.
So they are not native here. They are an invasive species brought by someone.
Yeah.
And then, well, so you have all these like plants that are just growing wild here, maybe as sacrificial plants for them, just to like take these and not.
Yeah. We have all different colored anthuriums. We have reds, we have pinks, we have purple, we have orange, we have white, we have yellow. We have dark red, dark pink, light pink.
Do people get them to rebloom after, or?
Oh yeah.
They do?
Every new leaf brings one new flower on anthuriums.
Really?
Yes.
I've had
So
trouble.
if you're producing new leaves, you're usually producing new flowers.
Okay, so what are some good tips?
What people usually do is they put them inside their house with no light. They expect them to grow with no light. Their lights are off in their rooms.
Yeah.
So you need some sort of light source to keep them flowering.
That's it? No nutrients or specific things you would do?
We put like a 9-month fertilizer in our soil, so it usually lasts for about 9 months. So after 9 months of growing, you need to start, adding a little bit of fertilizer to your mix, whether you're using a liquid fertilizer or you're using a pelletized fertilizer. Just make sure it's not too strong. It's a slow release. It's not going to dump all the nutrition at once and burn the roots off of them. We are the authorized grower and distributor of Tazula Plants anthuriums. So all of Tazula Plants stuff is grown in our nursery and then supplied around the world. We have benches and benches and benches of their hybrids growing over here and true species.
So this is the Anthurium Big Bill.
Yeah, this is one of my first hybrids.
Oh, it's named after you.
Yep.
You named it. How big does it get?
I measured the longest leaf at about 10 feet, 2 inches long.
That's like 2 humans.
About, they were 26 inches across.
Oh my God.
So
they're hanging, they're pendulum.
Yeah,
Okay.
pendant variety.
Interesting.
I could show you pictures of that plant.
Sure. And do you know the parent of it?
Yeah, Anthurium plowmanii.
Okay.
And Anthurium pendulifolium. Pendulifolium was the mother,
Yeah.
and plowmanii was the father. That's the original plant.
That's beautiful. It skirts really beautifully. It's not like what we just saw. That's gorgeous.
That's what these will look like when they're bigger.
Wow. Where can people find these?
They can buy them from me or they can buy them online. A lot of my customers sell them.
Okay.
They're very popular plants. There's a guy in Chicago. I met him recently that was growing it inside of his house in Chicago.
Yeah.
That's just inside of his house in Chicago.
Whoa, that's indoors.
Indoors.
Oh, if it can size up like that indoors, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Whoa.
All the anthuriums, the #1 seller is probably Dakota and Whiteheart. Whiteheart is this one here. It produces a lot of flowers, really good for putting around in decorations for parties, weddings. I sell a ton to interior scapers around the world.
Interesting. Is this a new cultivar or?
No, it's been out for a good 15 years already, I think.
Interesting. So this is one that is popular. Is there another reason why they're popular?
Nice dark foliage.
Okay.
with a white contrasting flower makes it really popular for mass people that buy them in mass.
Right. Is the care relatively similar across?
Yes, yeah,
Oh, no.
pretty much similar. It actually gets a flower about as big as your head.
Really?
It's a large flower.
Wow.
It has green lobes at the top
Yeah.
with a nice big red flower.
Yeah.
This is probably our second best seller.
A lot of people will really want to go for that festive color sometimes.
Apple-Ballis.
Yeah.
Acunima stigma lavalier.
I came across this once in the mountains in Indonesia. I bought a pot. It was super rare. And it's nice to see them growing with such vigor here. Mine didn't make it, obviously. It wasn't that easy for me to grow, but I guess they're happy here. Is this even an aroid or something
Yes,
else?
it is.
It's an aroid. Beautiful, the gorgeous red back. Almost like a calathea.
A lot of my pets, plants I've been collecting for 25 years. I am the biggest plant hoarder, so you probably won't find a collection down here that has more diverse things in it. These sprinkler benches are a lot of my hybrids that I'm growing. We have some variegated sports we find in tissue culture batches in here.
That's interesting. Hang on, sorry to interrupt. What is this, a Birkin? And
That's a pink Birkin or a Rojo Birkin.
is this common here or what's happening?
No, it was found in a batch that came out of tissue culture at a nursery, and my friend Mike
Yeah.
was able to find it at the nursery and bring it over here. We actually put it in the tissue culture as Rojo Birkin, so
So
we're gonna try to get it growing. Birkin is actually a mutation of the Rojo Congo liners
yeah.
that they found in Asia, and they have put it into tissue culture. The problem with Birkin is it mutates a lot.
Yeah.
So you get lots of different mutations out of it, and that happened to be one of the mutations you get out of it.
That's really cool. I quite like it. And the Birkin is very easy, vigorous plant for me at least. So I love
Yeah,
that.
but it sort of maxes out in size.
Yeah, and you kind of
Where a Rojo Congo will get, this big.
Uh-huh. Oh.
Rojo Congo is a hybrid my friend made, Marion,
Uh-huh.
from Oglesby Labs. And that one gets pretty big, but the Birkins never seem to get more than,
Yeah.
24 inches or so maxed out.
Sure. But some people like that with small apartments, and I certainly like it. And you got to chop them back because they become green at some point.
Well,
All white.
sometimes they go all too white,
Yeah.
and then they really stop producing any energy, and then you sort of have to chop the top and let it go back to the base again.
Yeah.
Collection in here. This one I got from my friend in Indonesia.
It is a Scindapsus or?
Rhaphidophora or Rhaphidophora. They called it tenuous variegated, but I don't think it is a tenuous. I think it's something else.
Very.
This is a new species of Alocasia. This is, they say it's similar to Cleoptera. We don't quite know the species name on it yet. They have a couple different names it's used around in the trade.
So it is around, but we just don't know the name. But do you know where it's from?
That new Alocasia, is that from the Philippines? Yeah. Philippines. My favorite Anthurium now is Anthurium stripey.
Awesome.
This is a Tim Anderson hybrid. Tim Anderson was a longtime Aroid Society member, and he bred this probably 30 years ago. Really, really beautiful descending venation. We won Best in Show for the SKG Marble.
Tell me a little bit about this plant.
This is a hybrid of Faustino Mirandi and Clarinervum and Ace of Spades.
Damn. One of them's variegated, or all of them?
No, just one of them.
Okay.
I found one seedling out of the cross that was variegated.
Interesting. It's given you different kinds of variegation. This is very beautiful, actually, if you look up close. Then you have this one that's marbled. So it's very complicated. Do you only have one, or are you making?
No, I only have one. Oh, I have a couple, but
Okay.
You cut them and not all of them come out variegated.
There are
This
few
is the
years.
original Ace of Spades here. That was
Okay.
the one that my father
This one.
originally planted the seeds of.
Is this the same plant?
Yep,
Oh,
same plant.
okay.
So this one has provenance as being the first Ace of Spades in the world.
Wow.
This is my 4-sectional hybrid.
What does that mean for?
So it has anthuriums are split into sections,
Oh,
and this is 4 different sections in it.
well, can you quickly walk me through the sections?
It has Antiochians, which is a calamistrium. It has Veitchii, and then it has Red Queen, which is one of those Anthura, big
yeah.
flowers.
Yeah.
And then it has SKG Silver
Yeah.
in it. SKG Silver is a crystallinum times magnificum hybrid that my dad did.
Oh. Nice.
But it has big, the biggest flower fell off of it before the show, but the flower is big and red.
Whoa.
This is all of our Alocasias. We have many varieties from all over of Asia. We have Sumo, which is a hybrid. We have Black Stem. We have Stingray, which is a Thai find. They found it in one of the Thai bazaars, plant bazaars. They have Tigrinus superba. We have Filipino Alocasias like the Heterophylla corazon. No one really knows where it came from originally. Excelsa Gardens in Loxahatchee found it in a Thai plant sale,
Yeah.
and they brought it back to the U.S. and put it in tissue culture.
Wow. And all the alocasias, basically this is an alocasia greenhouse they were in, so are they spider mites prone here in humid Florida?
Yeah.
They're still spider mites prone. Interesting.
And some varieties more than others.
Okay.
Like some varieties spider mites like, and some varieties thrips like, and some varieties get the bacterial spotting. Just depends on what it is. This is the corazon from the Philippines.
Okay. Corazon means love, if I'm not wrong, or bravery.
Well, it was originally called Coriaquino after the president's wife in the Philippines. But then they changed it to corazon eventually.
It's got beautiful silver finish. Very reflective. And just by looking at it, it looks like an easy one to grow.
Yes. It does get this bacterial spotting on occasion, which we have to spray for or cut off the leaf.
Sure.
This is the
Mycorrhiza.
Gagiana.
Oh, Gigantea.
Gagiana.
Gagiana.
Yeah.
That's the first time I'm. It's different from the regular Mycorrhiza?
No, it's a dwarf variety. It doesn't get very big.
Oh, that's cute. And what are these, Maharanis or?
That's Maharani. That's a hybrid of Mellow and Regine, I think.
Are they easy to grow?
Yes, very easy.
Interesting.
And Toro Velvet.
Okay. This one looks like it's a hard one to grow.
It's a difficult one. It doesn't like it to be too cold. It ends up melting in the cold.
Beautiful black leaves though, with a bit of the green around the edge. Is this common here or is it considered rare?
That's more of a rare one.
Okay.
This is a Morocco. This is the hybrid by Oglesby Labs. My friend Marion made that hybrid.
Morocco, let me see. It's probably got some, Longiloba in it? Or?
Probably maybe the old Veitchii with maybe some Longiloba with some other stuff in it. This is the black velvet. This is the Reginula.
Is it different from the regular black velvet?
No, that's the regular black velvet.
Okay. This
That's
is
a
a-
species.
Awesome. This is actually a good gateway to get into the jewel alocasias. Affordable, not hard.
Then we have, this is a really old hybrid. This is Golden Bone.
Okay.
This is a Michelitziana hybrid.
Beautiful. And the back, look at that. Sometimes we forget that Alocasias have beautiful backs.
And then we have Jacquelines.
Of course.
I think they just described that one as Tanderosa.
Yeah. Are Alocasias popular here? And
Yes.
what would you say if maybe list the top 5?
Alocasia poly is the #1 selling alocasia in the world. It's been the #1 selling alocasia in the world for many years.
Awesome. The top 5 aroids types that are popular here in the US.
Anthurium, Alocasia, Epipremnum. Let's see, what else? Philodendron, and probably,
I would say Monstera.
I would say Monsteras, yeah.
Okay.
So that'd be probably the 5 highest selling ones. For Anthurium is probably the #1 selling aroid in the world.
Right now, as a collectible house plant.
Yes, for house plants.
Oh, interesting. Were they always been popular or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mean the
Anthuriums
flowering
have always
ones?
been popular.
Gotta clarify.
Monstera have been coming up over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
People enjoy the negative space of the leaves.
Yeah, the fenestration.
That creates beauty in them.
Yeah.
They still haven't found any monsteras that have like colors and stuff like that. So, yeah, if they ever find that, I think it'd be cool to have. But
yeah, to add color to the.
Like with philodendrons and anthuriums, you can get anthuriums with flowers. They have anthuriums that have color on the leaves.
Yeah.
You know, with alocasias, you have all sorts of different colors in the leaves.
Yeah.
But with monsteras, they're just plain green. So you have to enjoy the negative space.
Yeah.
The fenestrations have to be the beauty that you look at.
Interesting.
If not, you're just going to see plain green.
Yeah. And Monsteras, they're very stingy about flowering too. They're not very.
Yeah, they have to be up to size before they flower. So they have to be a good, 8 to 10 foot tall before you'll start seeing flowers on them.
Yeah. The Alocasias and Anthuriums, they flower in like 6 months from a baby. Very fast.
This is the Michelitziana Velvet Elvis. So this is a dwarf form of Michelitziana.
Sure.
We have the Reversa.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Alocasia purpley, which is our find.
Oh, but how is that different from the poly?
So Amazon Nursery in South Florida made the original Alocasia Amazonica.
That's what.
So Amazonica was their hybrid.
Yeah.
You can look up the parents for it. I think it's Nobilis and something else. And then they put that into tissue culture as Alocasia Amazonica. And then we were buying tissue cultures from Amazonica. And then once we got a mutated one that was smaller, more compact, more dwarfish to the Amazonica, so we called it poly because we figured it was a polyploided form that had more chromosomes in it.
Yeah.
So from that mutation, we put that mutation back into tissue culture, and we got basically Alocasia polyliners, which is the #1 selling alocasia in the world.
Okay.
And then from there, they've all had all sorts of different mutations come out. Bambino is a mutation of poly. A parasol was a mutation of poly. There's a bunch of different mutations that they've since tissue cultured and made their own plants out of. When we were getting the Amazonicas in, I found one that had a purple emergent leaf.
Mm-hmm.
And I separated it and put it in tissue culture, and we called it Amazonica purpley.
Interesting.
Hence the purple new leaf that comes out. The leaf is more pronounced purple in the cooler months of the year, but you can still see the purple tinges to the new leaf. It also has more of a creamy green stems than the regular Amazonica, which is more of a darker green stem.
Yeah.
But you can sort of see a little bit of the purple I wish you were here in the cooler months. You could see a lot more of the purple in it.
Okay.
You can see a little bit of that purple tinge to it now.
And this one particular one, the leaf shade is actually very interesting.
Yeah.
Really.
So we have Alocasias Galore. That's a true species.
Yeah.
We have the Infernalis. Alocasia lutea.
Lutea or lutea?
Lutea.
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 There is a Calathea lutea as well.
Yes.
Maybe. I wonder what that means in Latin.
That probably means yellow. Yeah, this is an unusual species.
And it is a species.
Yeah.
They're like clumping really hard.
Yeah, they clump like crazy. Alocasia longiloba dragon's tooth. This is a find that's one of my friends found, and he brought to me, and I put in tissue culture in the U.S. It's a really good grower. Does extremely well. The only issues are it wasn't as popular as I originally thought it would be.
Oh.
But I think it's a good plant. It has a good contrast to the leaf with the white veins. Right behind you, we have the Alocasia dragon's breath, which is a heterophylla, but it's a narrow form of heterophylla. I really enjoy alocasias. They're easy to grow, they grow fast, and they're very low maintenance and down here in South Florida. As far as landscaping goes.
Yeah.
They just need to make sure they don't get overwatered. If you overwater them, they'll rot out the roots on them.
Now, question, you have these like epipremnums going on both sides. Is that an aesthetic thing or is it a function?
No, it's a function to keep them out from hitting the plants when we pull them through.
Oh.
Because of the leaf shape, looks like a cobra head.
Yeah, this is big in Asia, actually.
It comes out with a purple frond when it releases.
This is one of the main plant that was a key mother plant for the hybridizing in Southeast Asia. Did it originate in here?
It's from French Guiana.
Okay.
It's Anthurium bonplandii
Cobra.
subspecies Guianum.
Okay, but the cobra you said is the kind of
The cobra is just the name they put on a seed batch that was, more dwarfish.
I have a funny story actually at the at International Aroid Show 2 days ago. I asked you if you had a booth, and you basically had were a little bit startled by the question, and you were trying to be as kind as possible. And you told me we were basically producing the show.
So I am the co-chair of the International Aroid Society show and sale every year. Allison Miller is my co-chair. I couldn't do anything without her. And the way I make money off the show is I enter plants in the members area. In the members area, 30% of the proceeds for the sale of the plants goes back to the society. It is since we are a charity and 501c3, it's good to give back to the charitable cause that we support. With the vendors at the show, I think I supplied plants to about 16 of the vendors of the 92 that were there. So I don't want to compete with my own customers. Never bite the hand that feeds you. So I basically, I don't bring anything that they buy from me. I let them do the selling at the show. I just bring stuff that, normal, odds and ends, little things that homeowners can buy and put at their house cheap. And I let the more expensive things go with the vendors that buy from me.
That's very nice. I really respect your supply chain system here in the United States. We don't have that in Asia. Everyone's everything over there. So it's nice to see. Can I get you to comment maybe on some of the charitable charities that you work with or?
So with the International Aroid Society, we have been trying to give out money for grants for researchers in other countries to do research on aroids around the world. We have a magazine that we publish It's a scientific journal that gets released either yearly or bi-yearly. This issue coming up is going to be 800 pages or more. And it is basically research projects of scientists all over the world studying aroids. Most of them are like studying new species in the wild, finding new species, studying where they grow. Because without that, you can't have these governments protect the species if they don't know they exist.
Right.
And once they get like data on where these species are at, they can do better with protecting them from deforestation and poaching and other things.
Sure.
So with the society we do, we give out research grants to these scientists, and hopefully that helps give more information out to everyone around the world about where these plants live and how we can best protect them.
That's awesome.
My father was past president of the International Aroid Society. I'm the vice president of the International Aroid Society. We've been around since the beginning of the International Aroid Society, and we believe it's a good cause that should be championed by everyone.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for that introduction. I think if you guys want to check out their website, I'm sure there's a lot of information.
Yeah, it's www.aroid.org. The website is going to be redone soon. I know it looks like it's from the 1990s, but we did pay a web developer to redesign it. We have over 30,000 articles in it at this time.
Wow.
That you can read if you become a member.
Awesome.
There's
It's like $20 a year.
$20 a year. It's not much.
I signed up, so.
Yeah, it's not really much to pay, especially with the price of things nowadays. It gets you in the door with IAS. It gets you access to our videos. It gets you access to our articles that we have published, and it gets you our newsletter, which is quarterly, and then our Aroidiana, which is our scientific journal.
Awesome.
And you can read about all these cool new plants from around the world.
Awesome. All right, Bill, thank you so much for having us around today.
No problem. I'm glad you came to visit.
Now, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Silver Krome Gardens. You can also find me on Facebook at Silver Krome Gardens. And you can also follow the International Aroid Society on both. And since I'm a member of the board, I get all those messages too.
That's cool. And of course, for the rest of you guys, there was a International Aroid Show episode previously. Check that out, and hopefully you guys can make it next year. All right, thank you so much, Bill.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, are you the shy one?
Come here.
Thank you as always for watching this all the way to the very end. It is more than I can ask from most of you. Another way you can support my work is by commenting down below and clicking on the like and subscribe button. However, if you would like to support the channel further, for around a cup of coffee a month, you can join our growing Patreon members at patreon.com/Sean from OnlyPlants. Or you can also join as a YouTube member by opening any OnlyPlants episodes from a computer, and next to my channel icon there would be a join button. Over the years, I've produced hundreds of contents like this worldwide. If this episode has brought you joy and learning, do check out my channel catalog to see if you've missed any other good ones. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week.